Good morning, everybody. It's time for the self-care Tracy or self-care salad show. Hey, I'm going to invite a few people and invite my co-host right quick, Dr. Joanne Tully. Okay. There we go. Okay, so the request is sent. I hope everybody is doing great out there today. Okay, Dr. Joanne, you should be getting in a few seconds. You should have it now, a little thing that says request to join. Just click on that. Okay, and in the meantime, I'm going to invite a few people. Hey. So it's time for the Self-Care Saturday show where you spend a few moments just slowing down, taking your time, and giving yourself some self-love. Okay, you're being added right now, Dr. Joanne, so you should pop on anytime. I'm going to invite my Phenomenal Women group. Here we go. I didn't have the request to join yet. Okay, so just I don't know. It keeps saying adding, so it's trying to add you. It's trying to add you right now. So just look at the bottom there. So, let's see. Nope, don't need that. Okay. When you get it, it'll be perfect timing because somebody's working on my grass, our yard right now, so that way we won't have any background noise. Okay, there you go. You are approved. Yay. Okay, so now I'm going to invite my Phenomenal Women group right quick. Hey, good morning, Dr. Joanne.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, that kind
There
of
we
went
go.
off smoothly. Like that.
Awesome. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
Really good, really good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I'm just taking a few moments to invite some people on right quick,
Okay.
and then we will get started. I'm not sure why, but every time it's time for the Self-Care Saturday show, the guy shows up. Well, on the Saturdays I'm doing it, the guy shows up to cut the grass, so you can just hear it in the
Yeah,
background. Not the best background to
right,
have.
right.
But welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes,
Thank
so we'll give
you.
it a few minutes for people to
Okay,
join on,
okay,
sign in.
okay.
And as you guys are joining in, then please make sure that you let us know where you're from. Yeah. So we'll just get a little music going in the background there.
Awesome.
Yeah. I did want some upbeat, but I was like, no, you know what? It's time to just settle down, take a moment, and relax a little bit. So this is
Absolutely.
working out perfect. No reverb. Yeah. Both
Sounds
of us have
good.
our ear. Yes. So I'm gonna try it without it right quick and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay. So let me hear you say something. Let's see how it's working.
Okay. Glad to be here.
Oh, it's perfect.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So only one person needs to have it if we need to do it.
Okay. Sounds
This is
good.
great. Yes, I love it.
I'm getting some feedback though. Like I can
Oh, you are?
hear, yeah, I'm hearing a little double talk.
Okay. So let me click it in there again, right quick.
Okay. Okay.
Here we go. Okay, is that better?
So far,
So far, so good. Okay, so
yeah,
I'm gonna
yep, so
try it with
far.
the music again and see, make
Okay.
sure it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, even turning it up. Let's see how that does. So any feedback now?
Nope, it sounds good. It sounds good.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm excited about the conversation we're going to be having this morning.
Yeah, I am too.
Yay. So nice to
Yeah.
meet you in person as much as we can be in person, right? Since
Right,
you're in
right.
Iowa.
Yes, I am in the Des Moines, Iowa area. It's like just a suburb of Des Moines. So, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Good morning, Dr. Sabra. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. She's in the Overland Park area, and Dr. Sabra will be on the show in August. So
Nice,
you guys be
nice.
watching out for Dr. Sabra. She's a sweetheart, too.
Okay.
Awesome. So we're just waiting a few moments. Now, if you could, when you join on, let us know. Just put a comment in the box where you guys are from. And make sure that you share this video. We're going to have some very powerful information this morning. Well, Dr. Tully is going to have some powerful information this morning that she's going to be sharing with us. And we want to make sure that we share, because sharing is caring, right? That's what we
That's
teach our
right.
kids. Make sure you share. Share your toys. So share your information. Share everything that you know. Because when you're a leader, you're a teacher naturally, right? And like
Absolutely.
leaders are readers and leaders are teachers too. So make sure that you share this morning. I'm going to be excited about that.
Yeah.
Yay. So you have a really interesting story. We're going to kind of get all into that. And
Yeah.
I love the fact that you really help people with a lot of different things. So this is it. This is an interesting background. And I think that's what drew me to you. So good morning, Miss is that Lakita. Hi, Kiki. Hi, Kiki. That's my niece. She's in
Awesome.
St. Louis. So as you're joining, please type in the box where you're from so people will know where exactly, what city or what state that you're in. Make sure you share the video. We're going to have some good content, especially for women. If you have any kind of hormonal problems, or if you just come, some of the signs to look out for, those kind of things. But the Self-Care Saturday show is all about offering people hope. HOPE, right? Having only positive expectations.
I
And
like that.
yeah, I love it too. Right.
Yeah.
The Lord gave me that. So, you know what? We want to get to a place where, when we get a diagnosis or something that's going on in our body or our mind, that we don't just sit back because we don't want to go to the doctor, because we know the regular doctor is just going to give us some medication, right? But we want you to know that there are more alternatives out there than just going to like your normal doctor that you've been going to since you were 1 or 2 years old with your mom and your dad, and that there are many alternative things that you can look at, things that we really need to be watching out for and looking out for. So with that being said, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Dr. Tully, and then I'll go back into a little bit about the Self-Care Saturday show, because I have some exciting things coming up for Self-Care Saturday that I'm doing personally. Okay, so Dr. Tully is a mind-body doctor. Now, she was a chiropractor, you guys. This is what's so interesting about her story. She was a chiropractor. Good morning, Leah. Thank you for joining us. Please put your city or state that you're in. We would love to see that so other people will know where you're from. So again, Dr. Tully, she's in the Des Moines, Iowa area. She's a mind-body doctor. Used to be a chiropractor, so she was licensed as a chiropractor. And what else? What other doctor were you? I can't think of
Uh,
the name.
well, as a chiropractor, I also specialized in the functional medicine,
Yes.
digestion, hormonal balances. I also was licensed to do acupuncture as well too. So, like trying to heal myself, I had to dabble in a lot of things just to try to heal myself, and in the end, none of those things worked. So. That's
Got
what
you.
we'll be going over later. But yeah, I've
Right.
specialized in a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so interesting. And I love the fact that you did go on a journey. You didn't just accept one thing and it didn't work. So you gave up and you was like, oh, woe is me. It's not going to work. I guess I'm just going to roll over and die in 6 months or whatever. So,
Right.
which a
Right.
lot of times, we do hit that low point in our life. But this is what the Self-Care Saturday show is all about, making sure that you have that hope, that you have a different expectation, that you ask questions, and that you have the resources, the tools, and people that we can refer you to directly, and you can go to them and get you some answers, right? So that
Absolutely.
way, in this world of trauma, I feel like we live in a world where we all experience some sort of trauma. I got to take one of these out. Um, then you know what? We all experience some trauma in our lives, but there are answers, and we got to start looking at things from a trauma-informed view. That way, we can build up resiliency with one another. Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Going like, oh, okay. Somebody is, okay. Hey, thanks for joining us, Viola. She's looking from another place and not just the Facebook page. So that's great. Dr. Tully is married and she runs a business. And so I thought this is an interesting thing. What are some things that you do for fun or for relaxation, just to kind of bring a little balance, or because we never get perfect balance, but bring some harmony in your life?
Right, absolutely. So I love to be outside, especially in the summer. I love anything to do with water. So yeah, and I love to be
So
outside with
like
my,
swimming.
yeah, swimming or just laying on a beach in the sun, or just sitting outside, going for a walk with my dogs. I love listening to music, live music even. And, um, I used to do like, some golfing and water skiing and kind of, things like that.
Ooh, wee.
But back when, back in the day, but I like to just be outside, and I'm an empty nester now, so got a couple of dogs to replace my kids. So just
No
you
offense,
know,
kids.
no offense. I love my kids. I've got my daughter and her husband. They've been living with us for the past few months as they transitioned out of the Air Force and they just bought a house. So
Mm.
they're actually moving out again in a week. But I've loved having them here again, and but they're off living their best life, and so I got two adult children, and then my dogs and my husband, and love to go out to eat and just socialize and have
Yeah.
fun. So yeah.
Yeah. And that's so important that we give ourselves permission to just go and do that, right?
Hmm.
Especially as mothers, for any of you young mothers watching, it's important to make sure that you take care of you, that you give yourself enough time to love on you enough to take time out and make sure that you're sound spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially, career-wise, all kind of ways. And there's so many people that are out here willing to help you if you would just be open to looking for it and open to accept the help, because sometimes help comes in different ways and that we're not expecting, and we want it to come a certain package. I know for me, sometimes I want it to come like in a certain way, and when it doesn't, I'm like, that's not for me, when that's the exact thing that I needed, right? Because we need to get
Absolutely.
out of our comfort zones. I really believe that, especially with this, but people who are dealing with any kind of caregivers, if you guys know caregivers, they need to be watching this show. Really, really do. Because when you care for somebody else, whether it's a parent or a child that has like a mental illness or a chronic illness or something what we consider a fatal illness, maybe the doctor gave us a diagnosis and how long that they're going to last, things like that, then they really need to be watching this so they can see that there are alternatives out there and there are people that will help you, and it is affordable. Right, Doc?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so great. You heard it from directly from her mouth. It is an affordable thing and it's doable. I think when we just open ourselves up to ask questions, then that's when we can get into different things, right?
Yeah, you really have to
So,
keep an open mind, and tap into your own intuition, and you'll get your own answers. And sometimes you need some help along the way. And what you
yeah,
said earlier is like a lot of the clients that I've worked with over the years in the mindset area, a lot of them do have these these beliefs that like one person should help me, and it's usually their spouse, and they get all ticked off when that their spouse isn't helping them, but there's help in loads of other ways and other areas that. So yeah, it's just
yeah,
being open. There's all sorts of things out there, and it's just seeing things in a different way.
right, yeah. And I love that. That when we do hit that spot where we're ready, and sometimes it doesn't happen until we've exhausted all of our resources. We went through everything that we thought was this was the right way and this was the right way. But I find that when you just slow down and really kind of meditate,
Mhm.
spend some time. Just it could be just some slow music, or you can just be reading a book or something. Like just spend some time and meditate and ask yourself some really important questions, even some hard questions. Like, what's my purpose in life? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I doing the right thing for me? Am I doing the right thing for my kids? What are my giftings? What did God give me? What did He gift me with? And how can I take that and turn that into making money so
Yeah.
that I'm not just working for somebody else forever. And then after 25 years, I get a watch, I get a ring, a little bling bling that might last a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, job, but I'm just saying, a lot of
Right.
times the job can stand for just over broke. And so we want to really be able to help people know that you don't have to just go over broke, and you don't have to like expend all your energy and your efforts doing something for the rest of your life or working a job for 35 years that you really don't enjoy,
Yeah.
because all that really plays a toll on your health, right?
It
Yeah.
does, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit more about the mindset, because I know you really help people a lot with any kind of chronic diseases, with hormonal stuff like menopause, and a lot of women go through that thing of gaining weight here and here, and then they tummy, and it's just what we consider weird places. Like, how did that happen? These hips just came out of nowhere, or even anxiety.
Yeah.
Like if you know you're a person that you get anxious a lot and you're not sure why, we need to do some work and figure out what's going on. And then there's people that have to deal with depression on a regular basis. So I
Yeah.
want you to know there is hope. Hey, Shawana, thank you for joining. Make sure that you put where you're from in the your city and state in there. We would love to see that. Again, we're with Dr. Joanne Tully. She's from the Des Moines, Iowa area, and she is a mind-body doctor. But she is licensed as a chiropractor, so she knows about some holistic health and all this great stuff she's going to be sharing with us today. But it all starts with, what's that, Dr. Joanne? Where are we going to
So,
start today? The mind, or
y-
where are we going to start?
yeah, let me tell you a little bit about my story, and
Okay.
then I'm going to
Oh,
go
yeah.
into like how to use your mind to heal your body. But if you hear my
Yeah.
story first, that kind of sets the stage, and then we'll go over
Right.
some of the basics to kind of help you maybe see things in a different way, like how
Awesome.
the physical symptoms that you don't like and life circumstances that you don't like, kind of see how they're related to your emotions, your feelings, and then your thoughts, and you can kind of see your way out of this, hopefully.
Yeah.
So just like my story, I had my own little midlife crisis. I was in business, my first career. And then when I had my kids, I was like, what am I doing in business? Some of the meanest people on earth are in business. And that was my own little, mindset and my beliefs at the time too. But I found chiropractic, and I had to go take some other classes. But so I started chiropractic school in my mid 30s. And so just as I was turning 40 is when I began my chiropractic practice. And I'd been healthy pretty much all my life, because, I ate really healthy. I exercised a lot, and just
Sure.
that took care of a lot of my emotional stress.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't realize it was helping so much at the time. But then when I started my chiropractic practice, I also got involved in my Chamber of Commerce, and I was president of our Chamber of Commerce pretty much right away.
Oops.
And just running the business and just wearing all these different hats, at the same time, it really took its toll on my health in a really, really significant way. And so I could no longer keep up. My good diet and my exercise could
Mm.
no longer keep up with keeping me on track and feeling good. And so it started off with, what people would say are, perimenopausal symptoms. So like, 2 weeks out of the month, this monster came out of me, and it was, really, really bad mood swings and all this anger and snarkiness. And so then I started researching different, energy healing modalities, and I got into acupuncture. Um, I i took extra classes on hormonal balancing, and that led me to digestion, because you have to be digesting fats and proteins to make this certain hormones. And so I became an expert in digestion. And I just kept accumulating a bunch of symptoms that I did not like. And I was tired and cranky and angry. I was just angry. Like, people weren't helping me. I was helping all of these people and trying to please all these people. And I was worn
Yeah.
out. I didn't know how else to love myself and take care of myself. I was just
Mm-hmm.
so caught up in taking care of everyone else. So
Sure.
I really got depleted, and I got resentful about it. And then my son had his appendix out, and he ended up with a MRSA infection. the
Wow.
type of, infection that antibiotics are not good at treating. So anyway, in he helping my son with his MRSA infection, I then caught it. And then my husband
Wow.
caught it. And so we had chronic MRSA infections. My son got over his right away, but my husband and I really, really struggled. And then we struggled for a few more years with other really crappy symptoms and then we found out that we had Lyme disease. My husband found out first, but
Wow.
once he found out, then it was like I went and got tested myself too, because then all my symptoms made sense. The crazy symptoms, and just everything just made sense. But what we were told by two different doctors is that there's nothing you can do. You're going to have this the rest of your life, blah, blah,
Wow.
blah. And I remember
Yeah.
sitting there thinking, like, oh no, that's not me. You don't know me. I'm going to figure this
Exactly.
out. I'm not going to settle for this diagnosis. And
Yeah.
that really served me well.
Yeah.
And that, so you have to have a decision of like, no, you don't have to just roll over and take it. And that's,
Right.
in medicine, we take, or we talk about the placebo and the nocebo effect. So the placebo is, when you're taking a medication, there have been trials done on most every medication. They're supposed to be done on all of them, but you can fake the trials. But anyway, but the placebo is, it's nothing. It's a sugar
Right.
pill. It's a
Mhm.
shot with saline. It's a surgery where they're not really doing anything but cutting you open and pretending to move things around. So but the placebo is very powerful in the mind, because if you are told, for example, if you're given a pill
Ah.
and the doctor tells you that this is going to take away your pain, and you believe that and you take the pill, your body will then immediately start creating chemistry to reduce your pain.
Yeah.
Likewise, if you're given a pill and told that this will reduce your blood pressure and you believe that, you can take this sugar pill, but if you believe that it's going to reduce your blood pressure, your body immediately starts creating chemistry to reduce your blood pressure. So that's the placebo. If you believe
Mhm.
something, your thoughts, if you believe something, you immediately create the chemistry that corresponds with that. Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
the nocebo effect is, if you, for example, if a doctor tells you like, oh, you've got cancer, and most people with this type of cancer are dead in a year, and you believe that, you just might be dead in a year. So that's believing the negative angle of things. So our thoughts are really powerful. Our thoughts create chemistry in our body. So a crappy
Right.
thought creates crappy chemistry, and a good, positive, good feeling thought creates good healing chemistry in our body.
Yeah. Now,
So
one thing I love that you said was the decision. You didn't just roll over and take it. Like, you were like, no. So we do have to just, even though you get the diagnosis, and I know a lot of times men, they don't like to go to the doctor just because they don't want a diagnosis. They don't even know what the problem might be. They might not even have a problem, but they don't want to go because they don't want to hear it. But I want
right.
to encourage you to find the right type of doctor for you, and that's why we have these shows again, to produce that hope, that having only positive expectations. So thank you for joining me, Larry and Viola, and thank you for joining me, Almy, and thank you for joining just everybody who's on here. Ricardo, I loved your comments in there, and Karen saying it sounds like a lot of stress, which, yeah, things,
It is.
all that
It
can
is.
be very stressful, and it could cause you to attack your own body. But you know what? The placebo effect reminds me of one of the Cosby shows I was watching one time. In I think he took a test or something, and a SAT test, right? And so the SAT test, they had it mixed up, and so it made him believe like he was really smart. So he started studying, and of course, if you apply yourself, then you're going to do better. And that's what it takes. Just applying that belief, because you're right. The things that we believe are what we start speaking out of our mouth. And we know that the power of life and death is in our tongue. So if we start speaking, well, I need to do this, I need to do that, kind of getting things in order. I'm going to make my bucket list just so I can get it done before I die. Then we start believing that. So we draw and we gravitate toward all those things. And so I'm glad that you're bringing that scientific fact in there, because I'm not a doctor, so I'm not trying to diagnose nobody. So let me just put that out there.
Yeah,
Thank you
and
for joining.
yeah, and I'd also like to clarify too that, like, I no longer diagnose or treat.
Yes,
It's more
yes.
like a coach when I'm talking people through this, but I also
Oh, thank
believe
you.
there is everybody that wants to go to a medical doctor, that wants to take a prescribed medication, or that they feel that is helping them, or other products, other supplements, other treatments, those are all
Mm-hmm.
perfectly fine. But what I'm going to give for information today is just another perspective, where for those people that do realize that or feel or resonate with what I say, that the emotional stress was making them sicker,
Yeah,
that for those people, this is another option for them. And it's not that
yeah.
you don't want to be like against, I'm not
That's not
against
helping.
anything. It's just like there's other options and
Okay.
other ways to perceive things. And that's always good. It's always good to have the hope and the options, like you're
True.
saying.
Right.
And I can't see any comments on my phone too.
Oh, well, I
So
see some
let me,
comments. Some people are like putting some names in the box. I guess of some really great doctors out there, which is great. So if you guys know them, or make sure you copy their names down, or because we're building community here so that we all can have some resiliency. We're all in this together. Connected one to another, and that's what I love about social media and the internet. It's like you can meet people from all walks of life and from anywhere. So if you go somewhere and you need a doctor in that area at that time, then you know who you can call, or you can go to, or you can ask questions, or whatever, build a relationship with them, those kind of things. So networking works. You throw your net out there and you'll get something good back, and if you get something bad, do like chicken. You eat all the meat and you throw the bones away. You throw all the negative stuff away that you don't like. So this is great. I love the story that you guys all in your household have these diseases that most people would just kind of be like, oh man, I got to take this medication forever, and then they end up getting tired of taking it. So, of course, they get tired of taking it, but they still have that belief system, like you said. So, how did you guys get out of the whole Lyme disease? Because you said your husband came out of it first, right?
I actually pulled out of it first,
Oh, okay, okay.
and then he did. Yeah, because I made it my mission. Like, I'm going to figure this out, and it it took me about 9 months of more research. First, I just researched and just became an expert on Lyme disease and the co-infections and what worked and what didn't. And honestly, like when and working with other patients that had it too, like my whole practice changed. I moved my practice location to focus on Lyme disease and helping people. And what I started noticing, I also made the decision that I was going to meditate, because before I was like, I just don't know how to do it. I've never done it before. And I made a decision. Part of it was like, all right, God, I need some answers. I need to talk to you. I need the answers. And it was like this
Oh,
meditation
that's
just
nice.
popped into my head. And it was like, okay, I'm going to meditate because that's how I'm going to listen for my answers. And the next
Yeah,
day, I started meditating and I got really, really good at it really fast. And my intuition really, really kicked in, with which everybody has, but we ignore it for a while. But anyway, so in my
true.
journey then, in working with people, I started to notice the emotions, and people that were sick were really, really emotional. There was a lot of fear, there was a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, hatred towards doctors. Ran into a lot of that because these people have been going from doctor to doctor to doctor,
Right.
trying to get their answers. But what I saw
Mm-hmm.
was that their answers were within. They were within themselves. It wasn't. So I'm not anybody's guru. You can heal yourself. You absolutely can heal yourself. I don't heal anybody, but I just guide them through the process of like identifying their own emotional stress and the thoughts behind them, and
Mm-hmm.
letting go of that stuff. So I learned how to do that myself first. And really my health turned around once I let go of a bunch of my anger and resentment and hurt feelings. Once I figured out how
Sure.
to identify it and let go of it,
Okay.
it was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. So I wasn't in that fight or flight mode anymore.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
calm. I was calm, and that's when your body starts to heal, because
Yeah.
your natural state is to be happy and healthy. And if you're anything but that, you are in this fight or flight, and your body just can't. you can't heal. It can't do its job. So
Right.
you have to get to that calm place. And if your thoughts are all about like, what if this happens? What if that happens? Or, you know, you're just angry because somebody's been hurting your feelings. And hurt feelings go one of two ways. You make a decision. You actually do. I know I've made this decision. With hurt feelings, you're either going to lash out at others with anger, or you're going to
Mhm.
turn inward and go into depression.
Mhm.
That's what it is. So, but it's really, so it's getting, if you're angry or depressed, that's getting to those hurt feelings and learning to forgive other people and forgive yourself, let go of those wounds so that you can heal yourself. And then the anxiety is just fears. It's fear of, you know, what if I get sick? What if I can't do this? What if I don't have the money? How am I going to pay my bills? It's that constant, you know, just your mind racing. And those kinds of thoughts get tucked away in our subconscious mind, the part of our mind that we're not really aware of. It's just automatic, that automatic software program. And if we don't ever take a look at that stuff, we don't see how that's running the show. So as I was looking at what was healing me, what got me, what really had my attention is how quickly it was first my hormones just balanced out, my digestion got better, and then little by little, like everything else just fell into place. My health came back within just a lot of it came back within a week of me letting go of a bunch of anger and hurt feelings. And then the rest
Sure.
of it just kind of balanced out over the next month. And that really had my attention because that was not what I was taught in school or in any of the extra, you know, seminars that I'd been to or
Right.
certifications that I'd gotten. It's, you know, we talk about our emotional health and how our thoughts create, you know, disease patterns and that kind of thing, but nothing specific was ever gone over. It was, so if you go to a doctor, any type of doctor or healthcare provider, typically what they're looking for the cause is some kind of pathogen, like, you know, a bacteria, virus, yeast, mold, you know, chemicals, or, you know, you're deficient in something, so you need to take something, you know, or you had an accident. And what I'm talking about is, you know, those are all fine, but you can always go deeper. And once I went deeper, everything just cleaned up on its own. So I no longer had, I was taking so many supplements just to hold steady. And I no longer had to take any of that stuff because everything
Sure.
just smoothed out in my life. So again, that had my attention. So that's where I started to focus. Like, how can I then teach this to other people? So that's when I came up with
Yes.
my online programs and my, you know, my coaching. So it's really, it works for anything. And depression and anxiety are really the easier ones to help
Yeah.
people with, but it works for anything, and but only for those people that are looking for a different option that kind of resonate with the possibilities. So
Right.
so
So
with
let me
that,
clarify,
yep.
just so we don't have any discrepancies. Now she's saying, now we don't know. We know that, you know, sometimes people are depressed or they may have anxiety. It doesn't automatically work for everybody, you know, because some people are stuck in like deeper depressions and they have other things going on in the body as well, right? So we have to be at a place in our mind where we're ready or we're open to, you know, accepting something different, a different choice. And especially if we have children, you know, we can't make up a mind for them, you know, and even though you're the parent, you just can't say, hey, you're going to go to this person and you're going to work this out. Like, it doesn't work like that. You know, they have their own minds, their own thoughts, their own beliefs. They process things a little bit different than we are, you know, than we do as well. Plus, they don't have that emotional regulation piece all worked out. So we're still all in a continuum of learning how the mind and the body, the spirit, all of that is just kind of working together, and just like a continuum process. It's not like a good and a bad, a really healthy and a really unhealthy. There's a continuum that goes along there. That there's so many things along the way that we have to learn and adjust for each one of us. So everybody is different. So no one thing, you know, she's saying she tried a lot of different things, but after she tried those lot of and asked questions and got to a place where she said, I'm not going to settle for this, you know, but she knew there was something greater. So she believed, so it's her belief system, there was something greater. So then, you know, you're really ready and the answer is ready to come to you, but you have to stick with it as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And too, let me clarify a little bit too. Like anyone that wants to can look at their thoughts in a different way. But yeah, not everyone is ready to do that, and that is perfectly fine. And as you're like, I'm going to kind of transition into like a little bit of mindset basics, like what I'm actually talking about. Like, you know,
Yeah.
when you're
And
looking
then
at
let us know about when your course, what course you have coming up, and what platform they need to watch that on.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So when you're talking about, excuse me, mindset basics, you, if you could just kind of open your mind, just kind of stepping back and just open your mind for a new possibility, you're either going to really resonate with what I say and kind of be like, wow, I hadn't thought of it like that. Or you might kind of fall asleep, get disinterested. And that's just kind of ego stuff because your ego is the part of your personality that doesn't want to change. And I explain all this later in other
In your
areas. But,
class.
and if you get irritated, that is just like pay attention to the words that I'm using because there's something there that's ready to be healed. And I'm not talking about blaming yourself at all. When you do mindset work, you push past that and you get to a place where there's no one to blame, not anybody else, not yourself. It's new information. It's a place of freedom, where it's new information that you didn't know before. Because when we're kids, we learn from the adults around us, and we read energy,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't have the background. We don't understand that our maybe their boss yelled at them or something. We don't understand that,
I don't know
but
what
we pick
happened.
we pick up on things like, I'm not good enough and I don't matter and I'm not lovable. That's, as kids, that's what we feel because that's what the adult is feeling. And then we turn that inward, and it all starts with that kind of stuff. So, one of my big surprises when I started cleaning up my mindset and questioning all of my beliefs, my kids got it immediately. They were teenagers at the time and they picked up on it, and they turned, like, my relationships all turned around for the better too. And that surprised me. I thought, wow. So it's powerful stuff. So anyway, so when you talk about mindset basics, I want to just kind of quickly go over a few things
Sure.
here. So
Go for it.
thoughts are the most powerful form of energy. And this is quantum physics. So thoughts are the most powerful form of energy. And we read energy all day long. We just don't know that we're reading it. Like, if somebody's mad at you, if somebody's depressed, if somebody's happy, you can sense that. So pay attention to your thoughts because a lot of people aren't even aware of them. And your thoughts, when we talk about energy like this, we live in an attraction based energy system.
Sure.
So your thoughts match up with other energy that matches up with the energy of your thoughts. And that's what you experience. So you experience physical symptoms and life circumstances and personality characteristics of other people that match up where you are at. And again, you don't want to go into self blame, but it's more a place of power, like, oh, I hadn't thought of it that way. So thoughts are the most powerful form of energy. And then your beliefs are just thoughts that you keep thinking over and over and over again. Like,
Mm-hmm.
my my cat always pukes on Mondays. If you keep thinking that, that's an attractive based energy, and that's a silly thought, but we come up with these silly
But
thoughts
we
and we
do
don't
stuff like that.
and we
Yeah.
don't we don't question them. And so then that builds an expectation. And so that
Mm-hmm.
expectation has an energy that attracts similar things to it. So I really had to start questioning every single belief that I had. I spent 6 figures on a chiropractic education and all these other trainings that I had to start questioning all of my beliefs, everything that I'd been taught about what was really going on with our bodies and our minds and our health, turned it
Sure.
all upside down. And so beliefs that leave you feeling powerless, like you're not in control, they don't feel good,
Uh-huh.
those are not your truth. But beliefs that leave you feeling really good or powerful or empowered, that's your truth. So as you start kind of piecing things apart, it's in questioning things. If you can just kind of get to the place where like that belief doesn't feel good, like, I can't pay my bills. And I know with reality, there's a certain aspect of it. It takes a while to explain all this stuff too. But, you look at your reality, your bank account's zero, you're in constant pain daily. That just didn't happen overnight. You had thoughts
Sure.
that led up to that. So by realizing that, you can start to change your thoughts and believe in a different way to create a different type of reality. So it's
Reality.
it's
Right.
it's a process. So what you focus on is what you get. So it really does serve you well to start to question your beliefs
Mm-hmm.
and start to take a look at your thoughts. And so here's the mind-blowing stuff, and I've got, again, other courses on my website to explain this in more detail. But I used to believe that the cause of illness was, it was some kind of stress. I thought it was either mechanical, like a car accident, or you needed an adjustment, something like that. And then I believed that your, like chemical or food stress was involved too, which it is in certain cases. But, so like the foods that you eat, if you're eating crappy foods, if you're exposed to chemicals and different things, that was making you sick. But the emotional stress, that that comes first. What I've learned along the way is that comes before the mechanical stress, before the other chemical and food stresses, and
Yeah.
before
Because
before
sometimes
in
we make food an addiction, and like
yeah,
if we're feeling a certain way, that
yeah,
because if I'm feeling a certain way, I'll make every adjustment to go to. I'm going to get me some ice cream, knowing that like ice cream is not the thing for me anymore. Like I don't typically do that, but it's just like I'm just going to reward myself, which really is just a punishment. I mean, but that's for me in
right,
particular because if I eat too much, then I got a cholesterol thing going on. But otherwise, I really don't even want it. But we do that emotional eating, just like emotional shopping.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
don't
and
feel good. We don't have any kind of money to shop, but we'll get that credit card. It's just plastic, so it's not really real at the
yeah,
time until you get that bill in the mail and you're like, oh man, I gotta pay. And then there's more
right,
stress on top of that.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
you got to work extra hours, or how am I gonna do this? I got more month than money, which all of those are negative and false beliefs, right?
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
So
yeah, I get you.
yeah, and so with that emotional stress, really, if you can back up to the thought that created the emotional stress, that's where your
Mm-hmm.
power is. So the cause of everything, I've got three things here I'm going to list. So
Okay.
write them down in the notes, or if somebody wants to in the comments, write them down. So cause of everything. So again, what you're thinking about here, what we want to solve is like our pain, our struggles, our
Chill.
illness. So number one is your thoughts. Number one for the cause of everything is your thoughts, because there's an energy behind every thought. And that the energy of every thought is going to be fear or love. It's one form or the other. So what we're talking
Right.
about here, if a thought that doesn't feel good, that leaves you feeling powerless and without control, would be things like your fears. What do you worry about? Your limiting beliefs, like I'm not good
Mm.
enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not important, I don't matter, I don't feel safe, I don't trust anyone or myself, this won't work out for me, this is going to be too difficult, everything's a struggle. Those kinds of limiting beliefs are just thoughts that you thought long enough and over and over and over again. They became your beliefs, and they're limiting because they block you energetically, and they get caught in certain areas of your body too. And that's where things start to go
Exactly.
wonky. So yeah, so cause of
Right.
everything is number one is your thoughts. And it's also the stories that you tell, how you blame yourself for other people or other situations, the excuses that you make, the complaints. So if you start to pay attention, and we all do this, but if you start to pay attention to thoughts and what you're saying, what you're speaking, and if they don't make you feel good, pay attention to that and try to just stop. So thoughts are the number one cause of everything. And your thoughts flow into number two, which is emotions or feelings. So your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts cause thoughts, number one. Number two flows into emotions or feelings. And what we're talking about there is, the anger, the anxiety, the depression, the worry, the guilt, despair, resentment. So if you have a feeling or an emotion that you don't like, you can be taught and you can learn to dive a little bit deeper in what was the thought or the limiting belief or the story behind it that's really the cause. And
Right.
then, but it's okay if you don't catch, a lot of us don't catch it in the emotional stage, in the second stage. It's,
Yeah.
you
And
learn.
then wait a minute. Some of us catch it and then we still go get that ice cream that we
Right.
don't need.
Right. Or that bag of chips that I would
I'm
get the
just
bag of
saying,
chips.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
But
exactly.
I love the fact that we do need to make decisions or choices from a place of love. And when it doesn't
Mhm.
come from love or from joy or peace or something like that, then like this is not the right thing for me.
Right.
So
Right.
like even, though we're not trying to diagnose anybody, at least from this point out today, if you're making decisions and you're not making decisions based out of place of love or based out of, because love is not going to always feel good, okay? And
Oh,
joy, it's not going to always feel just right. I don't really don't believe that it always feels good, because
wait.
when you love your kids, you tell them the right thing, right? But you're telling them because you love them. Don't run out in that street. But it feels good. They want to run out there. But you love them, so you tell them, don't do it. But you still have a choice as a parent to either warn your kids or let them learn on their own, kind of thing. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying we have to make decisions based out of a place of love and not fear, like
Mhm.
she was saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And at first, a lot of people, at first, I didn't know the difference between feeling good and not feeling good because I didn't feel good so much of the time
Oh,
that I just
yeah.
didn't know like what would it be like to be happy and to feel really good. I didn't know and didn't remember what that felt
Mm,
like until I
yeah.
actually let go of enough of my negativity that like, whoa, this does feel really good. And it's your point of
Yeah.
power. It's your point of power where just like
Yeah.
everything in your life shifts. And yeah,
Yeah.
what you're saying too is like that angle of like, yeah, with kids and pets and stuff, it doesn't mean you love them. So you don't let them play with scissors or run out in the street and,
Right.
things like that. But it's like everything shifts where you don't have that fight, that struggle. It's just things are just easier. But
Right.
back to like the three things that, so one was thought and then two, the feelings or emotions. If you have a feeling or emotion that you don't like and you don't do anything about it, which that happens, it flows into number three, which is a physical symptom or a life circumstance that you don't like. So
Right.
things like pain, any
Yeah.
illness or disease, lose your job, a divorce, an accident, any type of struggle at all. Again, you'll think that you couldn't do anything about it. It's just kind of fate. But really, if
Yeah.
you take a step back and kind of
Mm-hmm.
follow it back to the emotion, follow it back to the underlying limiting belief or story or thought that had a certain energy, you'll start to see how they do match up. And that's your clue. It's like a feedback loop, then, a really, really cool feedback loop. So the thing is
Yeah.
like, ask yourself how you feel. If you are feeling happy and feeling good, carry on. You're doing fine. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you don't feel good, if you have a physical symptom or a life circumstance that you don't like, that's not pleasing to you, you can you can make the choice, you can make the decision to like, what was the emotion behind that, and then what was the thought or the story or the limiting belief behind that, and then you clean up the thought and then everything smooths out. So that in a nutshell is the basics. um,
Right. Right. Yes.
there's a lot more to it,
Yes.
but it's really just it's learning to identify those kinds of things for yourself, cleaning them up. Get any other help along the way that you want, but really any and all illnesses or diseases, whatever you have been told by a doctor or by anybody else, it doesn't have to be your truth. It really, because you can find stories where people have healed themselves from any and all things. It's just they tapped into their own guidance, and that whatever you want to call the energy of love, like I call it God, you can call it Buddha, creator, source, Jesus. The word doesn't matter because the word can trip a lot of people up, unfortunately. And the word God and Jesus tripped me up for a long time too, because of my religious growing up, background growing up. There was a lot of
Understand?
conflict. But when I finally got that
Yeah.
it was just love, it's that energy of love. That's all you're going for. And once you connect to that more and more, just everything in your life smooths out. You get messages, you know what you need to do. And,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I want to throw out an author and a book. So Anita Morjani has this book called
Okay.
Dying to Be Me. Anita
Okay.
Morjani. And she was
So would
in,
somebody do me a hold on? Would somebody do me a favor and put hashtag in the box, hashtag Arnita Morjani?
yep, and her
Would you spell
last,
that for him?
yeah, the last name Morjani is Moorjani.
Okay.
Moorjani, Anita Morjani. And the book is Dying to Be Me. And it just gives you hope, because she had stage 4 lymphoma, cancer. She went into the
Mm-hmm.
hospital. She went into a coma. Her organs were shutting down. She was dying. She was going to die. And she had a near-death
Mm.
experience. And in her near-death experience, she got all of her answers. She realized that culturally, she kind of got wonky with her beliefs about, needing to please other people, and do, instead of being herself and just,
Yeah.
loving herself and being herself. She was too
Being
busy.
free
Yeah, she wanted to, she learned that you needed to please other people. And then
people.
she
Yeah.
was just afraid of cancer, afraid of getting cancer, afraid of cancer. She saw relatives and friends die of cancer. So that fear of focusing on the fear of cancer was enough to attract it to her. So
Sure.
she tapped into the energy of love. And this is probably the best medically documented case of miraculous recovery, because when she came out of her near death experience, her tumors healed. Like, she was completely healed within about 5 weeks, and it was all medically documented. And it's a beautiful, beautiful story. But
Yeah.
it's switching your mind, your thoughts, from fear to love. And
Exactly.
that's really what it's about. So if you're having
Yeah.
thoughts, like if you catch yourself saying, like, I can't do this, I can't do that, it's not possible, no way, this won't work out for me, or if you are a blamer, like I used to a ton. I was always blaming other situations, other people for my problems. I complained a lot. I don't know how people stood to be around me. I'm a totally different person now than I was a few years ago. But if you're like
Well, I'm
I
glad I just
was,
met you.
I know, right? And so if you catch yourself doing things, having those kinds of thought patterns, try to just stop yourself, like, whoa, wait, 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 wait. Just stop, 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 stop. Is there another way? Can I just distract myself with music that I like, or going for a walk, or taking a bath, or, playing with my pets or kids or something like that? You've got to distract yourself long enough to kind of calm that
Sure.
stuff down. And
Yeah. Got to
that,
disrupt those negative thoughts.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So when
But
you're,
we also need somebody to help us, I believe, keep accountable. So it's good to
mhm.
be able to connect with a person like you or somebody else who's doing some of that type of work, so that,
Yeah,
we can, yeah. Because like you
yeah,
said, when you go deep, you don't know exactly what you're going to find until you get there.
yeah. And
But the source of all healing is love, because God is our
mhm,
creator. He
mhm.
created everything. So he knows, he put in us, that natural ability to physician heal thyself, pretty much. So
Right,
that's what
right.
I call it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're
exactly.
right. Yeah.
And
So I want to read a quote right quick, because we're getting
okay,
ready to wind down.
okay.
And it is, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, it becomes your destiny. So I just
Wow.
want to keep you guys with that thought. Thank you for joining, Joyce. Please put on there where you're from in the box for us for a moment. And I also want to add this too, because Dr. Joanne hit on this a little bit, about we're getting the things that we believe. But so for people that go to church, a lot of times we think if we pray for something, it's just going to happen. But let me tell you something. You don't get from God what you ask for. You get from him what you believe. So if you believe it's going to happen, you really have to pray. If you're praying, pray with faith. If you're not praying with faith, don't expect it to come. That's why the word says we pray amiss, we're missing the mark. We're praying for the wrong thing, or we're asking for the wrong, and he'll tell us, like she said, your intuition, when we clear out some of this negative stuff, your intuition or your discernment will increase, because you're able to hear a little more clearly, just exactly what is wrong and who to go to and what to turn to, and if you do need to take vitamins, so he'll lead you in that right direction. So if you just listen and follow that source of love, which is the highest place that we can get whatever we need, because whatever we need, he says, I am that I am. And that's what he means. I am whatever it is that you need. So if you need something today, then that's where you go. You go to the source. You go to the one who created you. You go to the one who made you, and that is God himself. Or Jesus. I don't know about Buddha, but to me, that's what it is. But whoever your higher power is, that's who you go to, and that's where you get what you need. Okay. And so if you want to connect with Dr. Joanne Tully, ask questions, put them in the box. We'll make sure after it's over, because she can't see the comments. I can just see them just a little bit as they're popping up. Then I want you to make sure that you put put some comments in the box, questions in the box. If you see the lady's name in the book, if you guys don't have it, then we'll put it in there afterwards, so that we can go back and answer some questions. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Our whole purpose here is to offer that hope, that having only positive expectations, or those powerful expectations, that enlargement. We got to start enlarging our territory, and that starts with our mind, enlarging what we can have, enlarging what's possible for us, not for somebody else. It's easier to believe for somebody else, but you got to start believing for yourself.
Hmm.
Okay. So, Dr. Joanne,
Absolutely.
I put the website up there beforehand. You
Okay.
guys can click on it. I know it is. I'm going to let her give you the website and any other information she needs to give you, but I want to respect your time. I know it's Saturday. It's warm outside. There's so much stuff to do out here. I really appreciate you guys showing up and commenting. That means the world to me, because you are my co-host. I don't do this by myself or just with another co-host, but like, everybody is a co-host, and we really have to lock arms as a community and really begin to build resiliency. So that's why I always say, grab your favorite water, coffee, or tea. Join me, and let's build a world of resiliency, so that people can know there is help, there is hope, things are possible. Let those negative things go, and we know it's not just that easy. Or shoot, we all be healed just like that. Everybody be walking around perfect, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
just wait till y'all hear
Yeah.
my story one day. So, Dr. Joanne, take it.
Okay, so if you are curious to learn more, if this has piqued your interest and you resonate with what I've been saying, I have a ton of resources. So you can follow the links to my website is www.drjoannetully.com, and you can go over to my Facebook business page, which is Dr. Joanne Tully dash Learn to Heal Yourself, or you can just probably tap on me personally and stalk me a little bit, and you can find all the links. But on my website, I have more information. I have blogs. You can get to my YouTube channel to get some more information. But I also have this really, really, I have, you can see what I have offerings. You can sign up for my email list. You can sign up for a free 30-minute chat if you need to talk with me one-on-one. I have online courses. There's a $25 How the Mind Works, where today I just kind of touched on it, but I've got two videos in that for $25. It's super affordable, but it gives you a ton of
Yes.
information so that you can actually see and understand more of what I'm talking about. And then I have online programs. In August, I'm going to come up, I've got a 16-week master program. It's a group coaching program that I'm going to teach you how to do all of this, to identify your fears, your limiting beliefs, let go of them, basically how to solve your problems, no matter what they are, but they're usually, health is in there as well. And then identifying, letting go of your anger, your hurt feelings, learning about judgment, and then moving into the positive, because once you let go of a layer of the negative, you have to start shifting into the positive. How do you want to feel?
Right.
What are your
Yeah.
goals? What are your desires? And so it's a 16-week program where I'm holding your hand each and every step of the way. But sign up for my email list if you want to be notified of the details and when that begins. But
Awesome.
there's some other courses on my website that are ready to go, that are kind of like a do it yourself. If you feel like you want to dive right in, have at it. It's there. Message me if you have questions. But thank you for being here. And if you have more questions too, put them in the comments, and we'll go back through them later. But Thank you for your
Yeah.
time, everybody. Share it out with anybody that you think that might benefit from this, because we're talking about people's health and just being happy again. Everybody deserves to be happy and healthy, and I want that for everybody. My whole life
Amen to that.
changed, yeah, and
Yeah.
I want that. I want that for everybody.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, I love you guys. Thank you for showing up again. I will talk to you later. I will probably come back on live in about 5 minutes just to share a little something with you about what Self Care Saturday is going to be offering for some women. Okay, have a great Saturday. Peace out,
Okay.
y'all.
Bye, everyone.